Hi, I'm Dr. Mike DiTolla, and I'd like to welcome you to the unboxing video of my Monet laser curing light. Why did I put a suit on for this? I don't know. I haven't, with all the lectures being canceled, I haven't had a chance to wear a suit during the pandemic, so I thought I would get dressed up. This feels like a first date to me, honestly, and I want to leave as good of an impression on this little laser curing light as it's going to leave on me. So I'm just going to use this box cutter to open this box and hopefully not injure myself. This represents a step forward in curing technology. From what we've been doing. Okay, I got to show this. The inside of the box is gorgeous. This is what I would expect if I was ordering, I guess, like a pair of Prada shoes, if I was that obsessed with shoes. And it's amazing. I've never seen a company, so this feels like I've ordered something from Apple. I haven't seen a company spend this much time on the inside of the box. And also at the very bottom, it's probably a good time to say this, is that this is a class 4 laser. Now, in dentistry, we have used lasers before. Most of them have been diode lasers or maybe laser, pointers if you've done any lecturing. Class 4 is, in a sense, the most dangerous type of laser. It's certainly the most powerful, and so this is a powerful yet safe laser that we're using. But this reminder and posting in your office might be a legal requirement in your state. Is just a good reminder of what we've got here, a very powerful curing laser. So let's take a look at the box. This is gorgeous packaging. This, again, is not something you're used to with a dental product. I just got a new Nest thermostat we installed in our house, and this feels a lot like that packaging. We've got the owner's manual sitting on the top first. This goes over the safety functions with it, the fact that you do, in fact, need to wear protective eyewear even if you stop doing it for your LED curing lights or your halogen curing lights, or you don't wear it for your diode lasers because that 810 nanometer is invisible. This is a very visible laser, and you do want to wear eye protection with this, and we'll look at that as I go ahead and take that out of the box, but it's just basically explaining the operation. It's pretty simple to use this, but we've got our owner's manual, and here she is. Oh. This is a tiny little piece of art that we have sitting here. I remember my first curing light getting out of dental school was about the size, probably from here to here, of this box. And now we are completely handheld, and we moved on from lasers. We've got a spare battery here, and we'll see that in just a minute as well. We have our charging base, and the charging base actually will accept both of the battery units, and then the main unit will sit in the inside. We have the AC cord, which we'll use to charge this up. In fact, I'll go ahead and plug this in because, like a child on Christmas, I'm already excited about plugging this in. I just need to get the power bar over here and put my US plug in here because this is a product that's going to do very well worldwide. Okay. One of the things we'll notice is there's a built-in radiometer here, and I'll show you that as well, so you can always check that you're getting the full output from your curing laser and know that it's going to be working well. We have barrier sleeves here. This has become pretty common in dentistry that we're always going to wrap anything that's going to go in the patient's mouth. Now, interestingly, one of the things about the curing laser that you don't see with the curing light is with halogens and certainly LEDs. We're always trying to have the tip of our curing light almost in contact with the tooth. We don't want to touch it to bonding agent, of course, but it's a liability as we move the tip away from that. And as you'll see in a little bit, you can actually move the tip of the Monet curing laser 10 millimeters away from where you're curing. So you probably won't touch the tooth, but it is designed to be used with the barrier sleeves, and I suggest you put them on anyway. Just, it's kind of gross not to. It'd be like doing dentistry without gloves on. We've got 3 pairs of the laser safety glasses here. Obviously, one for you, one for your assistant, and one for the patient as well. They're also manufacturing currently where if you have your own loops that you wear, inserts that'll fit down over that to see through it. And many offices are used to a paddle when they're light curing, where the assistant will hold it over the area, allowing the dentist and the assistant to both watch it and see through the paddle. So there's a paddle that'll be available separately as well to protect your eyes from the laser if you don't like the idea of having them hanging around your neck, or if you move the laser from room to room and can't remember where the glasses are, you can have a paddle in each of your operatories. And one of the things when you watch dentists cure composites that's curious is that they tend to look away instead of wearing glasses, and then the tip tends to move away from the area they're trying to cure. The goal here is that we actually watch what we're curing, and in order to do this safely, whether it's with an LED or it's with a laser, we want to have the curing glasses on or have that paddle in place. We'll also see a set of apertures and one attenuator in here. And so what these are for, if you look at the broad size of the Monet curing laser, there's going to be times where you want to just do, say, spot tacking, for example. So let's say you're placing a veneer and you want to spot tack it in the middle. You know, traditionally on an old halogen, you could get like a 2mm tip that would be interchangeable and go in there. Well, the integrated head of the laser can't do that. There's not different head sizes, but we have these apertures that get snapped onto it. So for example, this one is 2mm. So now we're going to get a 2mm beam coming out of the laser, just as intense as the laser is when it's fully uncovered as well, but it's going to focus right on that one spot. You can still use it if you wanted to, 10mm away from the tooth. Obviously, you're going to be a lot closer on an anterior tooth, but you still get that same focus beam. So it comes in a 2mm, a 4mm, and a 6mm. And there's also an attenuator, and we'll get a close-up on this, but it's got a little filter on the end of it that covers the entire tip. This is going to bring the output of the laser down by about 50%. So when might you want to use this? Well, as it turns out, blue lasers, as opposed to, say, green lasers or red lasers, have an affinity for blood vessels. In fact, a lot of the lasers you'll see doctors using in dermatology for like tattoo removal and things like that are blue lasers because they have an affinity for blood vessels. And so if you're close to the pulp, so how do you measure close to the pulp? Well, if the dentin's turning pink at all, you can actually place the attenuator on there and bring the power down by 50%. By the way, it's kind of counterintuitive, but the thicker you make that increment of composite that you put on top of that pulp cap, that you put on top of that, the less heat that the tooth actually receives. The thinner it is, the more heat's generated. The thicker that increment is, the less heat that actually goes to the pulp. So it's a little counterintuitive. We're going to talk about it more in the training videos, but I did just want to bring that up at this point. So the blue laser has an affinity for the photoinitiators that are in dental composites. Every curing light we've used since we got out of dental school has a blue light. And it's the same type of blue light that you're going to see with the Monet, but because it's a laser at 450 nanometers, it's got that affinity for blood vessels as well. So one thing you don't want to do with this laser is turn it on and put it on your skin because you will feel it heat up. Again, these are also used as dermatology lasers in a different fashion, but these same type of blue lasers. But for example, if you press it and put it against your tooth, you won't feel a thing. There's no blood vessels in the enamel and the dentin, and there aren't any till you get down next door to the pulp when you see the dentin starting to turn pink. So don't experiment by putting it on skin. I'm not sure what that would prove anyway, except maybe you enjoy feeling hot temperatures on your skin, but it's not hot when you place it on your tooth. That's not what this is designed for. It's designed to cure composite. So as part of this, let's actually do it. And by the way, I'm just going to show you. There's a blue aiming light that you can see on it so that you know where you're positioning this laser. But to the point about the distance, if you look, I'm just going to shine this on the wall behind me, and that wall is about 6 feet behind me. And that's pretty amazing. There's no curing light. I don't think you can take an LED curing light or a halogen and get that kind of focus beam that far away. Now, I'm not telling you to stand out in the hallway and cure a composite in operatory 1 and then turn it over here and cure one in operatory 2. I mean, if you're working on a multiple operatories, I suppose you could, but to just give an example of what you can do with distance, I'll take a little composite. And this works for any kind of composite. This just happens to be a universal composite, and I'm just going to stick it to this box, and I'm going to move the box, I don't know, a couple of feet away from me, and I'm going to put on the safety glasses so I'm not a hypocrite. And I'm going to turn on the aiming light. Oops, I went right to the laser. Well, there we go, I'm hitting it. But here, the aiming light itself is what you use to line it up. So actually, I hit that for 6 seconds and 3 seconds each. And this is, That is hard as a rock now. And I was curing that from, I don't know what that was, 10 or 12 inches away. That's not a recommended curing technique, but I just wanted to show you how this focus beam works. And you can try this with one of your regular curing lights and you'll see that the power just diminishes as you get farther away. When is that significant? Well, when we're doing class 2 direct restorations and we have a deep proximal box, you had to chase some decay on the mesial or the distal. And all of a sudden your curing light is hitting the cusp tips, and then the bottom, the gingival portion of our proximal box is 8-9 millimeters away from that. Is our light going to be able to get down there? And that's a real challenge for LED and halogen lights. The beauty of switching to a laser is being able to cure that far, is being able to cure from 12 inches away, whether we need to or not. We're not talking about 12 inches, we're talking about 10 millimeters and being able to do that. The other thing you'll notice is that it's a 3-second cure. Because of its power output, all we need to do is 3 seconds. Now, this sounds too good to be true. And every dentist, including myself, when I heard this for the first time, I was like, 3 seconds? This doesn't feel long enough. Like it feels like it should be more prolonged, painful, holding it for 10, 20 or more seconds. And an interesting habit I noticed in myself that all dentists have is we tend to cure things for 3 times the recommended length. So if a manufacturer says to cure for 20 seconds, we'll cure something for 60 seconds. So dentists are very skeptical, I think, about manufacturer recommendations, and they're always over curing it. And saying, well, if 10 seconds is good or 20 seconds is good, then 60 will be better. But this cures, you can see how this cures in 3 seconds from 12 inches away. And 3 seconds is really just to make it sound more palatable. Ivoclar invented the 3-second cure 2 years ago. It's not even really a question anymore. It's like breaking the 4-minute mile. Ivoclar proved the 3-second cure works. And amazingly, they did it with an LED. AMD was too frustrated trying to get an LED to work. They sell LED curing lights and decided to move forward and go with the laser. And the benefits have been the depth of cure and how far away it can be from what it's curing and still get an effective cure. The real secret is it would have cured that composite after 1 second. It's done curing after 1 second, but it's a 3-second beep in between them. And 3 seconds is fine, but it's a mind change for us as dentists to be able to accept that 3 seconds is okay and it's going to work. And again, Ivoclar proved that it would work with their LED curing light. It just had to be with their composite. The great news about Monet is that you get that 3-second cure and that high degree of conversion for any brand of composite that you're currently using, so you don't have to order a special composite to take advantage of that 3 seconds. So the 3 seconds is real. It's been around for a couple years. You just had to use Ivoclar specific composite for that to happen, and now you can have that 3-second cure, and you can prove it to yourself by when you get your Monet, by curing. So I've cured 36 inches away as we were starting this video, playing around with it, but it doesn't fit in the camera screen, so I wanted to show you that. So this is the first laser curing light we've seen in dentistry. The FDA actually had to create a new category for this, and this is not your father's or yours halogen or LED light. This is a serious new technology that can give us a 3-second cure regardless of what composite you happen to be using. And the depth that you're able to achieve with this is unbelievable. And you can just test it by taking a straw and putting composite and checking with your curing light from the top for 10 or 20 seconds and checking the other side with an Explorer. We're going to start making some videos that show this with the top 10 or 20 brands of the most popular composites out there, so that you don't have to believe what I'm saying. You can actually see it with your own eyes, like you can see when you cure something from 12 inches away. And I only needed 3 seconds. I was trying to show you the aiming beam and ended up doing it for 6 seconds as well. So I've been waiting months to receive my Monet, and I'm really excited to get this and can't wait to take it back into the office on Monday and start using it on patients. And this is a good time to be able to order these now and get in line, because this technology is going to revolutionize how we cure composites. And the thing that I like about it is that it's coming from the company that basically figured out how to put LEDs into a curing light. And CAO Group and Denson were the ones who basically have the patents on all of the LED curing lights that were out there. So he was the one who brought in the revolution from halogen curing lights to LEDs, and that took dentists about 7 or 8 years, I should say, to wrap their heads around. And hopefully, don't let it take this long for you to step up to the new generation. Do LEDs still work? Yeah, they work. but they take a lot longer and they won't get as deep. And the company that brought you LED curing lights is now proud to bring you laser curing lights. I want you to go online to amdlasers.com, scroll down a little bit, you'll find the Monet window. Click on that and read a little about it so you can see some of the things that I've quickly said to you in this video. And then when you scroll down, click on the live demo, and you'll be able to have a dentist one-on-one or one of the AMD staff sit and show you all of the features that this laser has in greater detail. And you might want to have your credit card ready, because pretty much everybody who sees this demonstrated ends up buying it once they understand the power of the Monet curing light. Thanks again for checking out this unboxing video.